Hello, Lightworkers 5.0. This is Letty Candelaria and Miss Irene Alcantara with you again today. Welcome to this is a real special event. I'm so
Yep.
excited. I'm so excited. You have no idea how much I've been looking forward to this. And I just want to say thank you, universe, for perfect alignment for this to have come together the way it did. So much love, so much patience, a lot of excitement. We have a very special guest with us today, and she is right here, Mrs. Frances Pullin. She is a renowned author, and she has her book cover right behind her, The Me and Me, Loving the Me and Me. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today with Frances. But Frances also is a 20-year veteran for channeling and talk about, or more. We're going to hear from Frances in a second. He, guys, has such loving messages that come from amazing spiritual beings. And I'm not even going to tell you who's going to come on because it's just super cool. But I just want to turn it over to Irene. Miss Irene, is there anything you'd like to say about Francis?
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So we have our good friend Frances Pullin, and she is a great channel, a great teacher of the esoterics or spirit. She's a spiritual mentor. And well, we'll ask Frances more of who she is and just give us a bit of introduction. Frances, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am. I am. I'm Frances, and I'm excited to be here. I'm so pleased that I've been invited to be with you because I know you, I love you, I care about you, and I know the feeling is mutual. So it's exciting for me to be a part of your show. Um, almost well, let's just bare my soul. 20 years ago almost, my son died. And even though I had been connected to spirit, questioned things, been around things, I never really zoomed in on the reality of my being. And when he left, I was given the opportunity, as I say, in my soul, to open up to what I was searching for, and it was the truth. I wanted the truth. I didn't want to believe all the things I'd been taught as a child that didn't make sense. I wanted to resonate with my truth and what made sense to me. And he opened the door and allowed me to walk through it. So here I am, all these years later, um, happy, healthy, whole, and walking in my truth. I am a psychic medium channel, hypnotherapist, author, and I remain a wife, mother, grandmother, and great grandmother. So those are the pieces of me that bring me together and make me me and make me whole. My daily life might be as mundane as yours. And then all of a sudden, I get a burst where I get to do a reading for someone or a channel for someone or just become the teacher for somebody who's on the path but doesn't really know what they're doing yet. And so I get to answer their questions. That's me. Anything else,
Wow.
ladies?
Well, I just have to say, um, Frances is a part of our healing group. We do have a healing group that
The
was established
Divine
over a
Nine.
year ago, Divine Nine. And Francis is an integral part of that because of the knowledge she brings forward with the hypnotherapy and the channeling and the mediumship. Um, it's been such an honor to work with you, Frances, on changing the vibration of humanity in our prayer sessions and in our healing sessions, simply
Thank you.
because of the energy that you bring forward. You know, I think Irene, you'll agree with it's it's the sum of all parts, right? And
Mhm.
there's this, we all play such an integral part in this group. But when you have someone that can guide a newcomer, that can guide someone who's wanting to open up these avenues and these portals and really learn how to trust. That's Francis's favorite word, trust. Um, it helps, you know, it really makes a big difference to have that guidance. And I mean, I just have to say I'm so blessed with everyone that I've been able to bring forward and the mediumship I've been doing, which helps people to understand transitioning, right? What death really is. I didn't have anyone that I could call and ask, like, you know, hey, pick up the phone and say, so I had this moment, you know, could you explain it to me? And and have validation. I think for some of us, from a lot of us light workers, especially as we awaken to all this, we don't know what we don't know. We just kind of, you know, we hope somebody will help us out. And of course, God always sends an angel. So for us, that was our dear Francis here. Irene, what would you like to say?
Well, that was a very great introduction, Francis. Thank you. And what caught my attention really is that you turned something that we all think as a very shocking and sad event into something very worthwhile. So can you tell us? Cause I'm sure there's a lot of people there who are in the same boat, you know, whether it would be a death of a loved one or something else, but something that's very shocking for all of us. So, do you have any words for that? Like, you know, how to turn it around, you know, to encourage people in that same situation?
I guess what I want to say is dive in, accept it, cry, scream, have all the emotions you need to have because it's real. When someone leaves, when my son left, I went through everything. I cried, I screamed, I would drive home from work at night just bellowing in the car, just sobbing so I could hardly see the road. And then one day I was able to say thank you. It took a while. I'm not saying it didn't. It did. It took a while. It took a couple years, in fact. And I got involved in meditation, and meditation allowed me peace. And I was then taught how to talk to him, receive his messages, and be at peace with what evidently, because I get kind of angry sometimes, that he and I
Mhm.
agreed to do this. He
Mm,
agreed to leave so that I would get on my journey of spirituality and talking to God and believing all the things that I believe now. And I kept putting it off and I didn't have time. And so when he left, I had nothing but time. Um, he was 33. He had a heart attack out of the blue, which is going to happen more and more to more and more people now because of what we've been through with this um, virus. Um, but allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to be sad, allow yourself to work through it, and then come to the other side. Come to the place of acceptance, beauty, all knowing that He was here for a purpose, and so am I. And he left with a purpose, and I stayed for a purpose. And I'm here to teach you to love yourself. That is my soul's purpose, to teach as many people on the earth to love themselves. And he gave me that gift, and I'm forever grateful.
Mhm.
I'm going to start crying, Francis. You know,
That's
it's
okay.
interesting
I cry
because,
too.
oh man, and it's okay, right? Um,
It's okay.
y-
Sometimes
Mhm.
I can't
yeah.
talk about it because I cry, and sometimes I'm passionate and I don't. And right now I'm really passionate.
We can
Well,
tell. Yeah.
you know, a lot of people are going to go back home, right? For those of you that are watching, for our audience, if this is resonating with you and you've never heard anything like this kind of conversation, um, I often I got so used to calling it transition, which means death. Okay. I don't believe in death anymore because the soul is eternal. So you'll hear me mention, and all of us probably mention, transitioning back into non-physical, which means we're not in our form, our original form. So I just wanted to make that note in case I go off and start talking stuff. So
Or in
Francis,
case I do.
right, yeah, or Francis, right, or any one of us. But you mentioned loving yourself. You know, when I was listening to what you were saying just now, um, about your son being in service to you so that you could be in service to humanity, um, that is that is a soul plan. That is a soul agreement, right? That's a pact that you made together. Um, and I think oftentimes the people I have been working with and helping, you know, when I ask them, have there been any signs? Have you felt anything? Because often the spirit will tell me, I've been trying, but they're not listening. And I think sometimes as human beings, right, if we're not attuned to this kind of experience, we think, oh no, that wasn't that wasn't anything. I must be tired, or oh, it was the dog, or man, maybe I'm going crazy, right? I'm kind of losing it. Um, what was it for you that really helped you to believe that it was your son coming in and that it was okay to trust that? Well, how did you get to that point of believing?
Mornings, early mornings, I would be sound asleep and I'd hear Ma, and he
Mm,
called me Ma. And it was his voice, and I knew it was him. And he would just say, Ma. And I would wake up and I would look around and no one was there, but I know I heard what I heard. And it happened often. And then I got to the place of my peace and my studies, because to accept these things into our heart, we do study. We meet with mentors. We meet with other people. We're taught that yes, that voice was his. And even though I knew it was his, I had to ask somebody. I could
mm,
ask you, Letty, or you, Irene, and you'd say, well, of course it was him. But I had to go through that. And you all will have to go through that too.
yeah,
That when that voice comes and you know what you know, you still question it. You can't help yourselves because it seems so unreal. It seems so crazy that you could hear your son's
Mm.
voice in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
Mm.
Has
And
anyone told you that, oh no, you're hallucinating, Francis, because you're in grief? That's why you're hearing the voices.
no, no. And probably, Irene, the reason that no one has said that to me is because I don't ask those people.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
I could be asking my sister, my brother, my friend who doesn't believe like I believe,
Mhm.
and they might say that, but I don't ask them because I don't want to
Because you
hear their
believe. Yeah.
I don't want to hear what they have to say.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I go to people in my community, and it took a while to build a community, as you all know. Takes a
Mhm.
while to find people that you trust. So for a while, I just kept it to myself. And then as my community grew and I felt able to share, that's when I had mentors and people I could count on that said, "Of course, how could you question that?
Mm.
It was his voice. You knew it was his voice. How can you question that?" And of course, he comes to um, kind of prod me along.
Mhm.
And
He was probably sending you all those people. He was helping you find your way. Yeah.
yes, I'm sure he made sure that I met all these people that would um, resonate with me.
Mm.
Um, and not everybody in our lives resonates. And yes, I'm a hypnotherapist and I do some past life stuff with a lot of people. And sometimes the people in a past life um, agitate us. Maybe they were our lover and they cheated on us. Maybe all kinds of scenarios. So I had to find the people that resonated with me and that I didn't have a negative past life with, if that makes sense to you. If you have a negative past life with someone, when you meet them in this life, they might be the grocery checker that always just ticks you off.
Mm.
You don't know why.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a positive past life with someone, they're your best friend forever. They're your
Yeah.
childhood friend. They're your husband's brother. They're your husband. They're your
Yeah.
lover. They're your significant other. Um, yeah. So what we do in past life does come into a current life. And I know that I'm going to have a great next life with my son. A great one.
Wow. That's pretty
That's
exciting.
so awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your journey in writing your book, Loving the Me and Me, because just the title is that's a therapy session right there, Loving the Me and Me. That's like a
Mhm.
prescription for better life, right? It's just to love the me and me. So how did
It
that come about?
did it did give me a better life. And I'm a channel and I automatic write. So when I was writing with my guides and angels one morning, they said, "You're going to write a book." And I went, "I'm a great reader, but I'm not a writer." So I wrote my first book called um, It Is I, Amadeus, Channeled Messages. And it resonated so much with me. It just knocks my socks off. And then they said my next book was going to be Loving the Me and Me. And at that time, I was going back into my childhood and I was visiting the dark parts of my soul in this lifetime. And chaos and chaos is the best word I can use to describe my child. It was awful. And there were beatings, and there were judgments, and there were nasty words. And yet at times there was pleasure and joy and happiness in our family. But when the belt came out, it wasn't a good place to be.
Mm.
And I went back and I visited many of those places. And I looked at them to find out what I might have done to cause the ruckus. Sometimes there was nothing. Sometimes there was something. But I had to forgive me for causing the ruckus when I did. And I had to forgive them, my parents, each one individually, for what they did to me. For whatever reason, they had a stressful day. My dad had post-traumatic stress from World War II. There were things, I had to forgive it all. And I had to learn how to bring their love to me, and so that I could love me, because I didn't love me. I didn't know how to love me. I didn't know what love was. I didn't know how it felt. And even though I was married with children, I didn't have that baby cakes, little child love. And I went to a hypnotherapist, and we went back to the moment of my birth. And I actually watched my parents pick me up and hold me and count my toes and love. They loved me. They wanted me. And I didn't ever know that they loved me and wanted me. And so I, in turn, was given, as strange as this sounds, the hypnotherapist said, take the baby Frances from your father's arms and hold her. And so there I was, holding me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was loving me the way I wanted to be loved.
Did that shift things for you?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was so amazing. And here I am now. I've written the book, Loving the Me and Me. I teach classes. I talk about it all the time. I do retreats based on the book. I am in love with me in a good way. It's
Yeah.
not boastful. It's not anything but just love. And I want it for all of us. I want it for you.
Wow. Well, that's a beautiful story. You know what? I think sometimes, and I think it's nowadays, I have to say, and there's debate on this issue, but I see how my sisters parent their children, and there is no belt, right? There's no there's no switch, there's no belt, there's no slapping, there's nothing like that. It's the parents of today, the younger generation of today is very mindful, and it's going to keep continuing that way, right? We know that the children being born now are star seeds, little crystal children, and they're coming in with so much awareness that there's probably going to need to be more learning of how to be a good parent and allow them to be themselves, not restrict. Irene, you did this
Yes.
the other day on your podcast, on your channel. You covered this. And I think, so I think we all, at least here in this platform, I can say I remember the belt, I remember, and it wasn't nearly the same experiences that you had, but I think violence on any level does affect you. It affects how you show up in the world and how you parent, right, later. But really
Yes.
your confidence, your self-esteem, and the true essence of really loving yourself. I think it's beautiful that you got to see the moment of your birth. What a special moment.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just so
Mhm.
cool. You got to
It
hold
was
your little
so
self.
cool.
Oh my gosh.
And to hold
Blessings,
myself,
blessings.
I mean, to
Yeah.
feel that moment of joy of coming into the world and being in my arms. I was an adult, but I was holding my infant self. It was amazing, just amazing.
Yeah. So this is Francis. This is also because you're hypnotherapist and you do the past life. So this is what I see as the real benefit of having that session, of having that past life regression is, you had a good hypnotherapist as well, and you being having had that experience, you're actually giving this gift to a lot of people that you have had sessions with regarding past lives, because you energetically understand the whole setup of this past life regression. And I think that what you experience is actually um, a great benefit, and that actually changed your life, right? And you're giving it, you're what do you call that, you're passing it forward to the
Yes,
next person and the next, and you also teach as well from that experience. And as we say, experience is the best teacher, right? So that's a
absolutely.
great gift you are sharing with a lot of people. And so you're still actively doing the hypnotherapy sessions, isn't it?
And I've done some forward regression. One that comes to mind is a woman who had been an alcoholic, and she had gotten her DUI and she was falling apart and losing her marriage. And we went forward in her life and saw her sober and remarried and at her daughter's wedding, and her ex-husband was there with his new wife, and they were all joyous together, and
Yeah.
everyone had forgiven. And that's that's amazing too.
Hmm.
um yeah, yeah, counseling people on spirituality, giving readings, doing the hypnotherapy, they're all amazing, amazing tools
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
God has blessed me.
Yes. Yeah, I think you are so gifted, Francis. And as we mentioned earlier, we belong to a group, our healing group, our Divine Nine group. But I mean, all of us have always known that there's definitely more to it than we can fit in that 1 hour and a half session that we have each week.
Right.
So that's why,
Right.
and that's why, well, this is a very good way of, letting people know. And it is really time to get these positive messages across, because that's when the world, we all need something like this. We all need to connect with people who would understand us. And
Yeah.
yeah, and Francis, you mentioned that the first book you wrote is not the Loving the Me in Me, it's something else, right?
It is I, Amadeus,
Can
and
you
it
tell
came
us more
from my
about
Dun,
that?
journal.
ta-da!
As I channel Amadeus Mozart. We were brother and sister in that lifetime. There's a whole story behind that we won't go into now. But um, channeling Amadeus messages, and they came right from my own personal journal. So I would write with him, and then we would put it into the book. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And I don't give it enough recognition. And that's because he told me that my life's purpose was to teach people to love themselves. And so then I began to focus on loving the me and me,
Mhm.
which everybody has a me.
Mhm.
You have a me, Letty has a me, I have a me. So let's love ourselves to
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
ultimate. Let's look in the mirror and smile back and say, oh gosh, I do love you. Thank you, God, for giving me this day.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how did you discover him,
Yeah.
Amadeus? How did is it from automatic writing or what
It
happened
was
there?
yes, you are correct. It was in automatic writing, and the instructor said, "You're going to meet a guide or an angel, or and picture yourself in a house or a castle." And I was in a gazebo, and this man came, a wizened old man, and he said, "It is I, Amadeus." And I thought he said Armadeus, so I went with that for a couple years. And then it became apparent that it was Amadeus Mozart. And we've had
Wow.
many conversations, and he's told me a whole story. But ultimately, what came was that he and I were siblings in that lifetime. And he is in my life today to repay karma from that lifetime. He's here to give me back the stage that he took away from me. And even this moment in time, as I talk to you ladies, you have your own uh, show, and you've invited me to be here. And so I'm on stage
Mm-hmm.
because he wants me to have the stage as often as I can to repay me, because in that lifetime, he took it away from me with, okay, I want to say with good intention. I'm not going to say that because, nah, he was a brat. Um, he knew I couldn't be on stage in the 1700s. I was a woman. I had to be married.
Mm.
I had to have kids. I had to do, take care of the household. So he finagled his way into my father's heart. I was his little angel, but Amadeus got in there and took over. And um, he shoved me out of the way. And he's here to put me on stage. So when I do a class or a retreat or anything that I do, he's giving me back the limelight. And I thank him for that. I think that's just, as Letty would say, that's cool beans.
So that's a way for him and his for him to atone, but also to balance karma, the karma that you had from that
Yes.
experience. He's
Yes.
balancing it
Yes.
here. Yeah,
Right.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And
Well,
he
we
knew
are
that was
we're
what he was
thank you,
supposed to do.
Amadeus. We know we're gonna see you in a minute, but thank you so much for balancing karma because we got our Francis here. Um, so Francis, I have a question for you. And this is I'm thinking of if I were an audience member and I was watching this video, and this is something we've all discussed in our group sessions. So for someone who wants to awaken or who is awakening, and this is all resonating with them, they've had some dreams, they've had some experiences, they've had these nudges, these little feelings, right, guidance, and now they're knowing what that is. They're trusting now what that is, and they'll feel more validated after this session. Um, but let's say they're not in an environment where they can really, really let that flourish, whether it's a husband or children or parents who, they're going to say things. Um, what would you suggest that they do? Should they just keep on keeping on in their own quiet way and pray for a friend that's like-minded? What was your experience with that? Because to say you channel Amadeus Mozart, I'm sure had his eyebrow lifting moments by people that knew you, right? We talked about
Well,
this the other day. I had an experience which was beautiful. Mary Magdalene came in a few days ago, and I thought, and I still haven't told anyone, simply because I'm not ready yet. I want to develop that relationship with her, but yeah, it's that natural human 3D little fear, right? That just kind of, so what would you recommend, or how would you answer that for our audience?
I kept it in the closet for a time. And one day I was at lunch with a group of people I didn't know, and they said, "So what do you do?" I thought, "Oh, here we go." I said, "Well, I channel." "What's channeling?" I explained it. I said, I channel Amadeus Mozart. And their eyes got big, and some of them didn't believe, and some of them believed. And I went home that day and I decided to come, as I call it, come out of the closet. And I went on Facebook and I said, "I'm a channel, and I channel Amadeus Mozart." And at that point, I didn't know we were brother and sister in that lifetime. So that's just all I said. And I waited for people to diss me and get rid of me, and people that I thought would just go away because they were so, what I thought, so opposed to what I was doing, they
Mm,
never left. They're still there. Almost 20 years later, they're still there.
yeah.
And no, we didn't have Facebook back then, 20 years ago, however many years it was. They didn't leave me, and they still like me, and they still are my friends, and we still enjoy each other's children's birthdays and grandchildren's births, and we're still okay. And if some people left, I don't know who they were. So they
Mm,
weren't that important. And I'm clean and pure in what I do and who I am. And I don't hide from anybody. I have in-laws. I have my children's in-laws. Everybody knows what I do. We don't talk about it much, but they know what I do. They don't come to me and say, "I want to talk to grandma." But they know that
mm,
they can if they ever
yeah,
want to. I'll be
Mhm.
yeah,
there for it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
It's
have
not like a
lots of
Thanksgiving dinner.
clients. Yeah, I have tons of clients who say,
Hmm.
I want to talk to grandma. And grandma comes in and talks to them. So um, you just have to be who you are.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you have to love the me and me. So I have to love me in order for me to give you the validation you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
want
thank
you
you.
both to just love yourselves. I hope you do.
Oh, yes.
And if you don't, we've got some work to do
Got some work to
Yeah.
do, right?
Every day we try.
We do.
every
We're
day.
doing. It's an opportunity. We choose again every single day.
Choose
Um,
again. Yeah.
well, I think that's beautiful. Thank you, Francis. I know there's going to be lots of people waking up to all of these videos, and this is a timeless interview, whether someone sees it in the week it's posted or 10 years from now, right, Irene?
Hmm.
It's timeless in the sense that, and we know this, we're going through this ascension, time is speeding up. I forget what time it is almost every day. Um, and so this is a message for lots of people. Whenever you're watching it, it's meant for you in this perfect moment. Um, so with I don't know if we should do a drum roll here, or if I had a red curtain back in the 200 years ago, I'd be like, ta-da. Um, is Amadeus, does he
Ready?
know does he know he's coming on, he's gonna be on YouTube?
It
He's
is
used
I,
to perform, right?
Amadeus. Greetings to all. I am so excited to be here with you and your audience. I have not been in front of an audience this broad for some time. Yes, I was that Mozart, the music that you listen to, dance to, and enjoy. But I am no longer that Amadeus. I am a soul, and I have chosen not to return to the earth. I have chosen this lifetime with Frances. And yes, she was my sister many, many, many years ago. And yes, I was a brat. I was younger, I was spoiled, but I loved her. She was my big sister, and I love her today. And so it is with that emotion that I bring myself to you, to all of you, whoever is viewing this. This is my opportunity to send love to your hearts. And we are going through things on the earth. And as I say we, I mean all of us who have ever walked on the earth. We all are going through some difficult times right now. But I want you to understand that out of the difficulty will come the light. And beauty will befall your earth once more. Do not be in fear. Take care of you. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of those on the street as much as you may abhor them. They too have souls, and they may be lost in their confusion and their drugs, and their mental state may not be okay. Send them love. You do not have to touch them, but please say hello, smile, walk on. But it may be the only smile that they get all day, all week, the whole year. And it reminds them that they too need love. And I want you to teach of love. And I want you to teach it to the children. Not with a hug or a kiss, but with the deepness that enables them to look in the mirror and love their freckles, their curly hair when they want straight, anything about them. I want you to be vessels of loving the me in me. And that is what I have taught to Frances. And she is trying to teach it to the world. And she needs all of you to assist. Amadeus. There we go.
Wow. Wow, that is good. You think we can ask him questions?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Dear ones, yes, you
Yeah.
may ask questions. I will be happy to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amadeus, for coming through today. Now, are you being channeled by other people at this point in time.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yes. In fact, Frances had a student who didn't want to say who came through because it was Amadeus, and she thought that she was making it up. I am ready to come through to anyone who is ready to receive, as is Jesus, as is Mary Magdalene, as is Moses, as is anyone who has ever walked the earth and is not returning. They are with you, and you may channel them as Frances channels others besides me. How dare she? But she does, because we all have messages. We mostly have messages of love, and we have reasons to meet and greet you so that you have clarity in what is passing through your lifetime at this moment in time. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you
I'll
for
again,
that.
thank you for that. Um,
You are so welcome. Welcome, welcome.
so a lot has happened this last week here in our 3D experience, and not in the Western world, but in the UK. And there are many people that are very sad about the Queen's transition back into non-physical. This is a game changer for the world. And as a light worker, what can we do to bring forth a different experience, a world of peace and love and harmony and freedom?
Keep your chin up, your chin up, and know that the transition needed to take place for the world.
Mm.
And yes, you know that she had these numbers, that she was this old, that she was this and that. But her message to the world needs to be divulged, and it will be in time coming soon. And her transition only brings joy, and everyone is grieving now or hating. I'm sorry, but they are. There is some hatred, there is mountains and mountains of grief. Tears
Mhm.
flow, flowers are displayed, messages are written. And yet, this woman who became the queen as a child in her 20s fought the world's reaction to her majesty. And she remained in public a pillar, an example of what you could be if you chose. She did not go drinking and drunk. She did not go driving crazy. She did not go into drugs. She remained steadfast. And all of us and all of you can learn a lesson. And maybe some things were not quite right, but she stayed steadfast. for her public. Grant her her peace. Grieve her if you will. Hate her if you will. But grant her her peace as she has transitioned. She has faced and will face anything she may have done in her earthly visit that was not 1000%. She will revisit. She will bear, as you will, her transgressions. And ultimately, she will rest in peace. Grant her that. Allow her peace. Allow her to love her.
Mm-hmm.
And allow her, if she chooses, if she so chooses to return, allow her that dignity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so I go in love, light, and laughter for eternity. Amadeus.
Thank you, Amadeus.
Thank you, Amadeus.
You are welcome. There you have it. I'll have to watch the video like all
Uh-huh.
of your clients because I don't remember what I say.
Wow, he's
do
so
remember.
awesome.
I do remember he said, let her be in peace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd asked a question about the Queen's transition and just how to help the world, right? How to, get to peace and
Maneuver
love
through
and
it. Yeah.
harmony. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
And
for
so
for us
many,
Westerners here, we don't know what it's like over there.
right. And so
Yeah,
many, many, many around the world love her.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
yeah.
there's those who don't.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
They
duality,
want to,
right?
right,
yeah,
right. They want to cast a stone.
So,
yeah.
And
Francis, how do you feel when you are channeling Amadeus? Like, do you feel his energy, or what goes on behind the
um,
curtains?
behind the curtain, I there's a peace. There's a there's never a word that he says in my mind that is not perfect.
Yeah.
So there's a grounding. I breathe deeply. He comes in. I feel grounded to the earth, and I trust everything he says,
Yeah.
even though I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I remember a few little snippets, but I don't remember what he says exactly. But I know that it is truth, and I feel it in my very being that truth is being spoken here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
That makes
you
sense.
are allowing when you allow and you trust him and you relax. You're
And
basically
that's the
allowing
key.
spirit, and spirit is truth.
Mhm.
And that's the
Yeah.
key is trust and
Mm-hmm.
truth,
Yeah.
because I trust him to always say um, the truth. And I have a client who, if I wanted to go nuts, I could, because he's all about um, scientific things. But Amadeus always has something to say, and he always comes back for more. So he's getting what I, Francis, am not even getting, because
Right.
Amadeus comes in and they talk, and I'm gone. I'm just gone. And they talk and talk and talk. And then when it's over, he thanks me and sets up another appointment. So I don't get involved personally. And let's just say you have something that you want to talk, maybe you're cheating on your husband. Let's just throw that out there. If you want to tell Amadeus, Francis won't remember because I don't hear it. I don't hear what's, as I'm speaking, I'm hearing, but I'm not absorbing or remembering. So if one of you said today, I'm cheating on my husband, I couldn't even tell you which one of you would have said it because I don't remember anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a confidentiality thing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that when I channel, you take me, Letty, takes a step back, and I
Yes.
let whoever, you know, come in. I just kind of move out of the way and they come forward, right? Do you see that? Do you have that too, Irene?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like I think if you're getting that high energy from them, you know, that pure love energy, you won't have any desire really, even if you knew, oh,
Yeah.
you know, the information, you won't have any desire to gossip or something similar. You know, there's just no
Yeah.
desire. There's no
Yeah.
ego involvement really. That's my experience so far, you know, just like, yeah, you know that, or you kind of have that feeling, but so what? That's okay.
Mhm.
You
It's just
know?
pure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very pure. And it's you feel kind of drunk after. I do. I feel like a little woozy, like
Drunk from the
super
high
like
energy.
yeah,
Like
just
high,
really
literally high.
yeah, high, and really like in this like, hey dude, just totally wow, man. Really calm, take it slow, just kind of cool. Yeah, for a little bit after. It takes me a minute to kind of rev back up and bing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
right now I'm still in that, calmness that says, oh, I can come back now.
Yeah.
Right.
You look very calm.
You do look very calm. He has a nice resonance though. His resonance, like his color, um, is very, very reassuring. I think he just
He's
has that.
very calm, and his accent, I don't even know where it comes from, but almost every single one that I channel has an accent from somewhere. I don't know where, with the
Mm,
exception of Justine. She comes through and sounds like a very loving Francis.
Mhm.
But
mhm.
when I channel Thor or any of the others that might come through at any given time, they all have a little tweaky little accent of some sort. And
Yeah.
maybe it's for me to know that they're there. Maybe it's not for you at all.
Maybe in another session we could get Thor.
Yeah, we'll bring in. Ooh, that
I
would be
am
fun.
Thor, he says. So yeah, we will. We will.
Oh, different
We're friends.
energy. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
he is. And interestingly enough, he has very powerful energy. But when he writes with me, he writes very large letters, but the pencil barely touches the page.
Oh,
It's soft,
wow.
gentle, almost non existent, but very bold in its size.
hmm
Wow. That's
So
kind of
So
cool.
do you
that's a whole
channel
nother.
them? Sorry, Francis. Go
I
ahead.
channel them whenever I'm asked and whenever
Mm.
they feel the need to be there. If I have a client who's having some emotional issues, and we'll go back to cheating on their husband just because we did that once, Justine comes through because she's sweet and motherly, and she says, Amadeus can't do this. I have to do it.
Mm,
hmm
because she knows that if that's going on, there's other issues. It's not just an act, it's a culmination of things. And she wants to address all of that. And she feels that Amadeus would just address the facts because he likes the facts.
Yeah.
And she's motherly and warm and cuddly, and she wants to find out what's behind whatever is going on with the person's life. I've channeled Jesus, Mother Mary, Mother Teresa, quite a few, but mostly they come and they leave and they don't come back. But Amadeus and Justine and Thor have always resonated and come back repeatedly. So if someone came in and said, I want to hear from Jesus today, then Jesus would come. But if they say, I'm just here to get resolution to this situation, then whoever's right for the situation would come through.
Well, so Frances, we're going to put in the comments information and ways that people can get a hold of you. We will put in the comments your website and any, contact information that you want them to have. And I just have to say, you know what? We're all evolving. And for any of you in the audience that are wanting to learn how to channel, learn how to quiet the mind, or have a hypnotherapy session or past life regression, which I absolutely support 100%. Frances, this is a personal testimony to Miss Frances. She's amazing, very patient, easy to work with, and I remember when I took your class, Frances, I channeled the first day, and it's but it's something that in your heart that you're ready for, right? And so we're very happy that we were able to bring Frances onto the stage and Amadeus for an encore. I can hear all his music right now. But I think this is a value. This is a value. We're so blessed to have such close access to Francis. But guys in the audience, believe me when I say that it is worth every moment and every ounce of trust that you have in your body when you're ready to do this work. She's a good resource and a very, very good teacher. Miss Irene?
Yes, absolutely. Frances is such a gift to humanity, especially at this time. And she taught me how to channel. So that is absolutely the greatest, one of the greatest gifts that I have had from you, Frances. So thank you very much for coming here today and looking forward to more sessions.
Thank
And
you.
Thor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So honored. I'm so honored to have you ladies invite me.
Well, we're just
Because
as honored that you said yes, honey.
in my own learning to love the me and me, there's still a little piece of me who questions. And for you to invite me made me feel special. And I thank you for that.
And we thank you. Thank you so much. We love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Please don't forget to click the bell, guys. Share this message with anyone that you feel in your heart would be blessed and would resonate with these words and this amazing, amazing message to love children and to love yourself and to just,
teach
trust.
it all over the world.
Yeah. All over. And if you see a homeless person in your neighborhood, stop and say hello. That really got me. That thank you for Amadeus for that. So
yeah,
that's it, right?
Very good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Frances. Thank you, Letty.
You're welcome.
Bye.
God bless you. Bye.